Hello. I'm so excited to be back. Happy evening. So excited to see some of our big friends. Hello, Lisa and Jan and Nancy. So good to see everybody. And without further delay, let me add Taylor to the stage for our product session. Hello, Taylor.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for another fun live.
Yes.
Lisa, Jan, Nancy, hope you guys are doing well this evening.
Yes, and I am actually to today's subject, which is about the different regional skincare routines. I just got back yesterday evening from New York City, from Manhattan,
Oh,
and
fun.
the first 2 days were so cold. It was below 20 degrees.
Oof.
It was almost nobody out in the street. It was
Oh,
so
wow.
cold. And then it jumped to, 42, I guess, when I left yesterday, and then hitting the ground in Los Angeles at 6 o'clock, we had 66 degrees, and
Oh my
everybody was
gosh.
complaining how cold it was in California. It was not comparable to the East Coast at all.
That's so funny. Yeah, what a crazy difference. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So you are where right now, Taylor? Because you're always in different places as well.
I'm in Georgia.
Very nice. And how is the weather in Georgia now?
Lately it's gotten pretty cold. Like I feel like our winter honestly has been a lot more mild than it has in the previous years. But all of a sudden in the last like month or two, it's like really, really cold. Like last week we had like 15 degrees, 19 degrees, which is crazy for Georgia.
That is Frosty Summit weather.
I
This is
know. And
this is like how it was in New York, uncomfortable cold.
yeah, I was so surprised. I was like, where is this coming from? Like, I'm not used to this. But
Yeah.
it's starting to warm up this week, which is nice.
That's good. Well, we had in LA too. We had for the very first time, like a lot of days with polar. It dropped below 45 degrees. It didn't go into below 20,
Mhm.
but it was going into 42,
Wow.
38, 43. Very, very unusual. And because we have the dry desert air, it even
Mhm.
feels colder. I
Mm,
would say. So, and then the houses are not built for it.
right.
Built with the earthquake, so it's very thin
Mhm.
wooden houses that shake together with the ground.
Yeah.
We didn't really had any big earthquakes in the last decade. Even recently, it has shaken a little bit more. But when I
Mhm.
moved to LA, it was shaking all the time, and that is kind of has not happened in, I would say, the last decade. So we have been very,
Wow,
very lucky. Yeah.
for
But
sure.
yes, so let's see how everybody else, how the weather has been. That's Minnesota weather, Jody and Jan are saying, where, it's really cold, but then it can just jump up and surprise you.
Yeah, it's crazy. One day you're wearing your big puffer and your scarf and your hat and whatever, and the next day you're like, "Oh, okay, I could do well with a light jacket."
Yeah. And your skin, we know now from science, adjusts as quickly to this weather. So it really is set
Mhm.
off when you have a spring-like day during the cold winter,
Mhm.
or you have the mild climate of Georgia. And now for a couple of days or even 2, 3 weeks, it goes down into Minnesota cold, freezing weather. And it really sets everybody's skin off, because at that point, even in Georgia, where it's always humid, the humidity is gone.
Mhm.
We know that the atmosphere, when it goes into certain temperature, cannot hold humidity, and the skin
Mhm.
cannot benefit for the humidity. So you need to apply a complete different technology for your skincare to keep your skin healthy and useful and beautiful, so you don't get any what we call polar aging.
Totally. Yeah, that makes sense. So speaking of our different regions, I'm curious to know how do Pormo's products vary to meet different regional climate needs?
So what happened is there is a big distinction between dry climates and humid climates.
Mhm.
And dry climates can be by location, which is really desert
Mhm.
mountain, they are all dry environments. And then it can be seasonal. Like the cold winter is a dry season
Mhm.
compared to the hot and humid summer.
Right.
So when it's dry, it's really our step one hydrating balancer. Regardless, any dry climate where you are, regardless of location or season, if you are in a dry environment uh, for one season, you need a step one, the hydrating balancer for arid condition. We used to call it rich. And what the biggest difference between the hydrating balancer rich and the hydrating balancer light, which is for humid condition, which we renamed for humid condition to make it easier for everybody, is that this one is building a shield in your skin because
Mhm.
you need, more shields when it's cold and dry outside. So you can lock in the the moisture, the
Mhm.
hydration, because pour more, creates a hydration reservoir with all the hyaluronic acids and all the hydration actives, and it locks it in so the dry air cannot steal it any longer. You don't lose it anymore. And, at the same time, these shields are protected shields against the damage from the cold air that it just does. It gives you wind burns and, all kinds of damage to your skin.
Yeah.
So this is already shield forming. As in a humid climate, you don't want to have a shield because what you want is in a humid climate, it's kind of lying in a bathtub. It's too much humidity. So what the skin does is it because it's waterproof,
Mhm.
the natural moisturizing factor that we have in the outer layer of the skin rises so much high up that you have hidden dehydration in your skin naturally.
Oh, wow.
So the hydrating balancer humid allows that the hydrating actives go into deeper layers of the outer layer of the
Mhm.
skin. So it helps with a complete hydration. So it prevents that
Mm.
hidden dehydration in a humid climate. It's kind of like when you step out of the bathtub and you
Mhm.
have complete, dry fingers and dry skin. You feel
Yes.
dried out. That's what
Mhm.
the hydrating balancer is preventing. And in a dry environment, it's adding additional shield to it. And then both of them provide that hydration actives in your skin, starts building that hydration reservoir that we were talking about. So the skin
Mm.
is always optimal hydrated in a dry environment as well in a very humid environment. And when it goes to mild condition, we already use the hydrating balancer for humid conditions. So this is the two, different. Are you in a dry environment for the season, or are you in a humid environment? And then the next one is step two, our serums. And we have 3 serums where now, as the hydrating balancer goes to the deepest layers in the skin.
Mhm.
And you can kind of say that the serums goes to the medium layers,
Mm.
to the skin. And these are the most active ones that we have. These are 70% full of active ingredients. So these are rich
Wow.
in antioxidant,
Mhm.
preventing that oxidative damage that comes in, which is really different in a high humidity. You want to have the blue. In mild condition, you want to have the white. And in dry conditions, you want to have the black serum. So they are, again, the black serum is shield forming. So it, on the contact with the skin, as you massage it in, it turns clear, but you can feel immediately the comfort. It gives you a silky, velvety feeling. So it's
Mhm.
much more comforting than the blue serum because you really need that extra comfort.
Mm.
And, the diamond, the real diamond dust that is in there
Mhm.
helps to cut any kind of dry skin that might be forming below the surface, because you want to
Mm.
really prevent any kind of skin dryness. And then you give it just a few seconds, and you can feel it's a little bit maybe reacting, and you can see it react to the air, and then it dries just beautifully down, and you can feel that you have really something. It's the feel. You feel that extra protection already in this hand than compared to this hand. So
Very
yes,
interesting.
we have here actually a very good question from Lisa. There are only 2 different balances, correct? And I'm going to let Taylor answer this.
Yes, correct.
One for humid, which is the light, and one for dry environments. And it can be a dry, season, or it can be a dry location. If you're in a dry location, you have, multiple seasons of dry air. Mostly, like when you go to the mountain, you have 4 seasons of dry air. It's always dry in the mountain. It's always dry in the desert. But in the west or in the northeast, you have only really 2 seasons, which is fall to winter and winter to spring, where you have the hydrating balancer rich, and then spring to summer, summer to fall, it's humid. So you take the light one, the humid one. And that's so 6 months of this, 6 months of this. And that's the same for the northeast. In Georgia, it's very different. Georgia has only the humid one. You are in the southeast, you have humidity all year long. And it's
yes.
very interesting because now you had a couple of days of dry air. You don't have to change the hydrating balancer because of it, because it goes so into the deeper, and I'm going to put this out here. This is really where skincare lives, the outer layer of the skin, which,
Right.
is about 10% of the skin. And as you can see, there's no blood, no water that is, hydration from the skin. This is the skin barrier, and it just sits here on the top. And so the hydrating balancer goes the deepest in it. So the dry air is really affecting your surface the most. So yes, you should change your day cream. That's really your surface layer. Deeper layers still gonna go that it's most of the days you're gonna have in that season gonna be humid. So you only change your day cream.
Makes sense.
But if you have 2 months of a dry environment, then definitely you need to change over, because the skin, as we are telling that the skin has signaling. So the outer layer of the skin signal the inner layer, and that's a process that is not instant, but eventually will say, hey, this is a dry environment. We are dry. So you need to turn, like that there is some communication going on. We don't completely understand it yet, but you wanna everything that goes on for longer than 3 weeks, you wanna adjust your hydrating balance, so your step 1 and 2. But if it's less than 3 weeks, you don't. So we have and maybe we should just let it up, and then we go to the question. And then step 3 is the day cream, and the day cream locks in your hydrating balancer, locks in your serum. So the serum now gives you all the antioxidant, because it's really oxidative stress that we try to slow down, and we try to give the skin, depending on where you wear and what the humidity levels are, because that's what makes the skincare most effective. We match it as good as possible. So, even if it's encapsulated, the skin will most likely benefit from that serum more than a serum that is not done for that climate, because the climate, once you apply the skincare, the efficacy of the products will be, depending on the humidity level. So they should be made for the humidity level, like our serums. And then the day cream, as we have a whole range of them for all the different climates. We have actually 7 different ones, and this year we're going to add an 8th one for it's going to be for the desert, for high humidity in the desert. That is different than high humidity in the tropical. So we call it the monsoon desert will coming.
Okay,
So we have
cool.
all kinds of different ones. So the desert is going to get a humid one for the desert. You just scan the QR code if you're
Mhm.
not sure what the weather is, and it will tell you exactly what to use. So we're going to go to Lisa and see what Lisa has to say. She said, I do the rotating system every 3 months. If one of my 3 steps has run out before the next shipment arrive, I think here is again, should I just do 2 steps? So, Lisa, which one of the 3 steps has run out before? So, next time, just give us a ring. We send you the product that you are running out. We never want you to run out of products. That's, part of being a wonderful customer. Just give us a ring and we ship you the product. It might be that you're using a little bit too much of a product because they should last you 90 days, even more than 90 days. So, the hydrating balancer, more than 90 days. The serum, you just need, as I was showing, this little for all of your face. So this spreads out, and less is more with pour more, because you want to train your own skin to keep its moisturization function, which is called the natural moisturizing factor. As more as we put in our skin in anti-aging skincare, as less skin is likely to create its own anti-aging moisturizer, which
Mhm.
its rejuvenation process or regeneration process of the skin is superior to any skincare in the world. So you really want to pour more, should just initiate your skin as a blueprint of what it needs to do and start regenerating itself. Get rid of all the brown spots, get rid of all the weathering surface, and just really rebuild itself. So you need very little from the serum. And then the same thing is true about the day cream. You just add in a very small pump, and that's it for all your face. Because remember, you are now having 3 products these are 3 moisturizing products. Step 1, the hydrating balancer is a liquid moisturizer. But please, Lisa, let us know if you run out of anything, because it really is meant to go for 3 months for you. So I let you take this one, Taylor.
Jan says, so in Minnesota, are we using the humid one?
Right now, you're using the dry one. It is very dry in Minneapolis. I know maybe today you have the Marine Day in Minneapolis, a more humid day, but it's still the dry season overall. When I was in Minneapolis 2 weeks ago, it was super dry and it was cold. So, as I was saying, the hydrating balancer is really the arid one for the season, winter to spring. If you're talking about the day cream, and it was today let's see where we have it, the Marine Day cream, then yes, if it was cool and humid, which is probably the 40s and humid or 50s the humid, then the Marine Day cream would be the right moisturizer for the day. We actually today in LA had also a Marine Day. It was overcasted, it was humid, it was, you know what? I'm just going to look it up real quick, but I think it's 52. But I'm going to see what it gives me today in LA. And it is 59 degrees, 80% humidity. It's a Marine Day cream day in LA.
And just to clarify, I know sometimes we get some confusion about the QR code. So you don't need an extra app or anything like that. I know we've had a couple questions like, do I need a special app, or like, what do I do? Literally just open up your camera on your phone, aim it. You don't have to, do anything else, but click the little link that pops up and you're set. Just in case anyone
And
needs
thank
it.
you, Jan. for clarifying. She was talking about the balancer. So the balancer is the
Oh.
arid one, and especially together with the polar day cream. So when I looked at Minneapolis weather when I was last time on Twin Cities Live, we were talking about what's the difference between Frosty Summit and Desert Day Cream and Polar Day Cream. So I'm looking where I see the polar mountain, tropical, and this is desert, and here's polar. So between polar and Frosty Summit,
Mhm.
and Frosty Summit is everything 19-degree Fahrenheit and below, really freezing. And then Polar Day Cream is 45 to 20, which is really cold. But both of them, the air is dry. It can't really, the skin is already naturally losing 30% of its moisture just being in the cold air. So the natural stage, Taylor, of your
Mhm.
skin in a cold climate is being dehydrated. So that's why we would see, pictures like 60 years ago or 70 years ago, people looked so much older because
Mm.
at that time they didn't have yet skincare that you could lock in. So you could
Mhm.
actually, keep that cold air, you slow it down and you keep it
Yeah.
out. And now we can even take it to another level because we can create hydration reservoirs within the skin layer so it
Oh.
can stay optimal hydrated.
Yeah.
So it's not only, keeping the air out, now it keeps the antioxidant and the
Mhm.
hydration and, all the good stuff in there.
Very interesting. And I was just thinking back to your um my mind is going blank right now. When you were speaking on dry versus humidity, I was in LA area. I want to say like a week or two ago, and I went out to like Palm Springs and all of that. And being from Georgia, it's super humid. And I went to Palm Springs, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like my skin is freaking out. Like my lips are so dry, my skin is so dry. So it's just interesting, kind of feeling that stark difference. Growing up somewhere where it's like humid year round, like it's humid out today and then experiencing such what felt like to me like extreme dryness is very interesting because it does seem like those are the two biggest, extreme factors.
That's very true. Very good observation. And it really immediately damages your skin. It immediately
Oh, I
has a
felt it.
reaction to it. So now with climate smart skincare for the very first time, we
Mhm.
can't control the weather, but we can
Right.
control now how our skin lives in it. And as you said, if you go from a very humid environment to a very dry environment overnight, it
Mhm.
is really very, very hard for your skin. It takes it completely to another level. And the same from dry to a very humid. So in
Mhm.
Minneapolis, where you really are having these extreme environments throughout the seasons, people understand in the Midwest weather better than anywhere else because they do understand that it has a huge impact on you. As when you live in Los Angeles and you always have this dry environment or Palm Springs, a lot
Mhm.
of people don't realize how bad it really is for their skin. And it
Mhm.
was so interesting. We're working with Alan Kay, very famous radio personality, a legend here in Los Angeles. She was 25 years on Kiss FM in the morning with Ryan Seacrest for 12 years, and then Rick
Very
Dees
cool.
in the morning for 13 years. And now she has her own show on Coast 103.5 in the morning. But when
Mhm.
I met Ellen Kay in, I think it was October, and that
Mhm.
is somebody we now can afford everything, does everything to her skin. She's a skincare junkie and a skin, like, and because her skin was getting worse and worse and worse, she did more of lasers and
Mhm.
vampire facials and, like, because it was getting drier and drier and drier. And
Mhm.
especially, as she was getting older.
Mhm.
And when I saw her the first time, the makeup was caked up because it was so dry. And she was like, oh my God. She said, I don't know what to do. I do
Mhm.
everything and it gets worse. And I said, Ellen, just stop everything. Dry climate smart skincare. I promise you, you give it a couple of days and you're going to see immediate results because your skin is already so dehydrated that
Mhm.
climate smart will make a huge difference to you as if you don't have that dehydrated skin yet, you still, you get immediately the benefits, but you don't see it as much as you really struggle with your skin.
Mm.
And we were just talking about it. She said she could not believe how quickly she saw the difference. And
Wow.
makeup artists who are working at iHeartRadio, that always do her makeup because, she does the Disney here and she does a lot of the concerts.
Mhm.
And when she has celebrities coming in to be interviewed, she just, they immediately, within 2 weeks, were saying, Alan, what are you doing to your skin? This is the best we've seen it in decades.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, because
Very
she
cool.
really, and the raindrops made a huge difference for her. So the Desert Day Cream, the 3-step alone wasn't really enough. She needed really the raindrops to just help with this extremely dehydrated surface
Mhm.
that she has. And that's something, next time when you come to Palm Springs, Taylor, that you
Mhm.
absolutely need, which is the
I
raindrop.
know. I was totally wishing I had it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
completely forgot."
yeah. You need to add them in when you're in a dry environment. And I'm going to show everybody how you do it. I use always my hand
Mhm.
as my palette. And you just put a little bit of the day cream, your normal dose, just one
Mhm.
little pump. And then you have a drop of the raindrops.
Mhm.
You mix it together. And then you just put it on your skin. And then it was so interesting. I don't know if you saw on Oprah. Um, she had one of a wellness coach there that Oprah
Mhm.
swears on.
Mm.
And they were saying that slightly tapping the skin is the
Mhm.
biggest secret for wellness. So you can do it
Wow.
here for anxiety that you have in your body, nothing extreme, just to tap. And I tell everybody all the time, when you put skincare in, I know, Tala, I told you all the time, just
Mhm.
slightly tap it in. There is nothing more powerful you can do to change
Mm.
your appearance and your wellness in giving, just, a couple of seconds of very slight tapping. And, so I didn't know about the tapping here, but they were saying if you tap here, it immediately calms the body and the mind in a
Very cool.
unique way. So there's a whole thing. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I can just say it works wonders on your skin. Just
Huh.
tapping after every step, you tap a little bit and your skin kind of welcomes your skincare in a
Mhm.
unique way.
Very relaxing too. Have a
Tapping
full self-care moment. Just relax,
does
release the day.
exactly. It does something to your skin that your own fingers kind of tap it. There's some kind of body, mind, soul connection that is going
Interesting.
on that we don't completely understand that,
Hmm.
creates this.
Very cool.
So it's now it's Oprah approved, that advice.
That's how you know.
So we have one more question.
Angela says, "What if you are inside most of a winter day in Minneapolis, so not out in the bitter cold?" That's a good question. I feel like a lot of people are curious, like with things like even sunscreen, like, oh, if I'm not outside, like, do I still need to apply and things like that? So that's a good question.
It's an excellent question. So when it comes to the very cold, your skin actually knows that it's very cold outside because your mind knows it, your brain knows it, your eyes have seen the very cold conditions outside. And there's something in our brain, which is our old part of the brain, where we kind of have this human experience knowledge. That's why all kids are playing war, even, they're going to pick up a stick and start fighting.
Back you with
Gonna
it.
go to the hut. Yeah, we were talking about the anthropology. So the same thing is, so the skin works actually also in a predictive way. So
Mm,
it doesn't take a chance, Angela, that you maybe gonna, take, so it's gonna get ready that you possibly gonna take a walk. You have a reason to walk out there. So it's changing its biochemistry, even if you are indoors in a controlled environment. It's going to change its biochemistry for whenever you go out there. It doesn't take a chance. And especially in cold conditions, which has for millions of years caused more death in human. So this is really deep in our DNA and our, brain, that cold is a survival, that our survival in cold is not given. It's very questionable. So the body's going to do everything to protect itself. So yes, even if you are indoors, you should really change to Frosty Summit when it's bitter cold outside. And also when it's cold, you are still breathing indoors, so your atmosphere is coming in, but it's going to be very dry. And then you are heating, so it's going to be even more dry. So when it goes below 20 degrees in temperature, it means it's going to go below 20 degrees in humidity. And humidifiers in your house only benefit your breathing. The water molecules in the air are too big for the skin to benefit. So you're doing really good for your nose and for your mouth to breathe in, but not for your skin. And Angela, what I want to tell you is, if we would take some plastic and we wrap your entire body, your entire skin into plastic and seal it, and we're going to cut a little hole that you can breathe with your mouth, and we're going to cut a little hole that you can breathe with your nose, you will be dead in minutes because your skin cannot breathe. So it's the outer layer of the skin that needs that oxygen, like that breathes actually in, has its own breathing way of how it breathes in, and it's not related to the breathing that you do for your inside of your body. That dry air, so it doesn't benefit from any humidifier that you have. It needs that special care. So you should, if you can, just change over to Frosty Summit. And don't forget, this holds you for a year when you open up. So when you use it this year, the Frosty Summit, you can just close it. There is our pumps are closable. So there's really no air, no light, nothing comes in it. You close it, it stays 100% supreme. And then you take it out, in 9 months when it comes back with some extremely cold days. So it really takes care of you for almost for 23 some winter, but also for 24 winter.
I was just thinking back on how you said, if you're, because we get a lot of questions like, oh, I'm traveling here. Like, do I need to switch out this product? Or, I'm traveling there. Like, do I need to swap out my whole routine? And I was thinking back how you said, if you're in a different location for more than 3 weeks, then you want to switch up your routine. What is it about the 3-week kind of sweet spot that makes you need to switch it up?
Clinical studies have shown that the skin starts within 3 weeks to adapt on more layers. So these outer layers are about, depending how old you are, like between 30 and 50 individual layers of the way of how skin works is, here are the basal cells that are, here. And when the basal cells are created in the lower part of the epidermis, they are first flat and they still have a nucleus. And then as they move up, the nucleus starts to be dies off and is replaced by keratin, which makes it hard, like you have in your hair, the keratin. So that's when they become what we call dead skin cells, and they start to stand up. And then the outer layers, they are standing like this, and then they get shedded off when they come to the surface. So from down here to being shedded off, it's about 30 days.
Okay.
That's when we regenerate all the time. So you can start now, as we are saying, the hydrating balancer and the serum still start affecting the layers in some ways, even where the nucleus is still a little bit alive, and can
Mhm.
change some of the health of that cell. And as stronger and healthier the skin cell is, as stronger it is as a dead skin cell, and
Mhm.
gives you a better, it has no cracks and it looks beautiful and flawless. And then it sheds off when it should shed off. So that's
Okay.
how it works. So,
Right.
and the climate affects more on this, so now we are going backwards. So with
Mhm.
3 weeks, the climate start to affect deeper layer of the most outer layers. So then, when you're in a dry environment for more than 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, you really want to change over to the hydrating balancer for arid condition and give it another layer in it. Like when
Gotcha.
you, exactly. So that brings me to that good question. When in Wisconsin, Minneapolis, when do you use the raindrops? The raindrops is when it's really dry outside, and it is, I would say, the most superior skincare product in the entire world. And I'm not saying it because it's ours. There is nothing like this. Even thousands of dollars of skincare product will not be able to compete with this product.
Wow.
It is a brilliant product. And it is a probiotic. And I don't think any other skincare line in the United States has that ingredient yet. I think we're the
Oh, wow.
only. I think you can only have it in Europe. I don't have seen anybody using probiotic for dehydration. This is the only one.
Very
And
cool.
it has been developed by BASF, and they have huge studies behind it. And we were, I think, one of the first skincare product during the pandemic when it came out that we actually put it in our products, did testing with our products, and it literally stops that vicious cycle of dehydrated skin that you get from outside in. And it really is, once you have this dryness in the environment, your good bacteria that live on your outer layer of the skin, which we call the acid mantle, the top surface of the skin has good bacteria and bad
Mhm.
bacteria. And
Right.
the dry environment kills the good bacteria and
Mhm.
thriving for the bad bacteria. Bad bacteria loves dry environments. That's when they
Huh.
eat everything up. They create cracks in your skin
Oh,
where
wow.
then bad stuff can come through. So just one drop, as I was showing first, you can either put one drop directly on your skin, but it is really made as a booster to put with your Polar Day cream um, or with Frosty Summit. You mix it up and you put it in, and you immediately feel a a hydration that you haven't felt before. It really has a special feel to it. And then you really feel immediately a certain protection of your skin,
Mm.
and it holds all day. No more dehydration. This
Mm.
is really, when you need this additional help with the environment, because the Polar
Mm.
Day Cream can only do so much, because, as we always talk about it, a moisturizer has so many jobs to get the right amount of each of these products in there to create the right shields that you
Mhm.
can, really the climate much shields that protects you from the dry environment outside. You can't really add in. The booster does only one thing, and that is helping that the good bacteria to stay in place and the bad bacteria to not be able to rise up. This is a
Mhm.
probiotic to really help that balance of good and bad bacteria in your skin that normally is affected by this dehydration in the environment. This stops it in its tracks. It is phenomenal. I
I
know.
was so wishing I had that in California. Oh my gosh, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the biggest mistake ever." So is
Yeah.
that something that, that you can use daily, like, if you do live in a desert
Absolutely.
environment?
It just makes such a difference. So if
Okay.
you go on a vacation, Linnell is asking, from Minneapolis to Palm Springs in March, should you maybe just change the day cream? Yes, just change the day cream to desert day cream, because
Mhm.
in March it's going to be warm out here. So it's going to give you the optimal support, because it has two different kinds of vitamin E in it for this additional sunlight that you're going to be exposed to in the desert. It's just more intense sun. So it has more photo aging active ingredients, anti-photo aging active ingredients in it. And it also creates the perfect base for your sun SPF when you are actually in the sunlight, when you go on a hike, when you go golfing, when you are, sitting outside and enjoying, the beautiful scenery in Palm Springs. The Desert Day Cream will keep your SPF in a place better than anything else. And it will also give you the shields for the dry environment. And it is rich on anti-photo aging for this intense sunlight in the desert. If you're going to go for 3-4 weeks, if you on our, subscription service, you can change the location. You can literally say, okay, I'm not going to be in Minneapolis for this. I'm a snowbird. I'm a winter bird. I'm flying to, warmer and better weather conditions. So then you can change it over. So this is very easy, and we can send you the desert kit for that. So very, very easy. But if you still have the hydrating balancer from the winter, that would be the same hydrating balancer that you use in the desert, and the black serum is literally the same that you're using right now in Minneapolis for the winter, will be the one that you use in Palm Springs. The only one you need would be a half size desert day cream that will give you enough for 30 to 45 days, especially when you also add in the night cream, because night is a climate by itself.
And Linnell, let me just tell you, if you've never been to Palm Springs, you will absolutely fall in love. It is so beautiful. I'm trying to convince my husband to find a job out there so we can live there. It's so beautiful. So I hope you have a lot of fun. And don't
Yeah.
forget your raindrops.
And we have here another question for the raindrops. Oh, when do I use the sun drops?
Oh, the
Can it
sun
be
drops.
mixed in with the raindrops into the polar day cream? Yes. You can mix 1 drop of sunlight drops and 1 drops of raindrops into the polar day cream. You can also, and I have the sunlight drops here, and I can show it right now. So I have here the polar day cream. Now I'm using, which I loved so much when I was in New York, now the sunlight drops. It was so dark in New Jersey. I went to a meeting at Princeton University.
Mhm.
So that's 1 hour outside of Manhattan. So we drove. It was dark. And
Wow.
that was like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then we have one of the sunlight drops, and the sunlight drops has already a glow to it, for that, so we mix them together, and now we are putting in a drop of the sunlight, of the raindrops, and now we put it on the skin, and I have already from before, but you can see the sunlight drops.
You can tell, yeah, you're
Yeah,
glowing.
in giving me a glow right away
Mhm.
on the skin with everything that I have already on my skin. So, yes, you can mix it in. Now where I'm putting it on with my light reflection, you can see they're giving me immediately reflecting the
Yeah,
light.
you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. Which is their job, to, give you a glow, but at the same time, they do something in your skin. So this is the chicory root active ingredient that is used in Europe as a vitamin D-like boost. So the outer layer of the skin cannot benefit from your vitamin D supplement. And if it's too dark outside, the outer layer needs that vitamin D for repair, which is the good part of the natural sunlight. It's not enough. The days are too short. That sunlight drop, you definitely want to put in. So, you can have both of them in your Polar Day Cream, but I would say I would put the I would put this just like after the day. I would put into the Polar Day Cream the raindrops, and then after I have put that in, I would just lay it over um, with the sunlight drops. And I have to say, the sunlight drops feel so good on my skin. Oh my God, phenomenal. And I like how it gives me a glow.
Yes, everyone loves a good glow.
Yeah, they are amazing. And the glow will hold under your makeup. So now I put it over makeup. That's how it looks when you put it over makeup. So, yeah. But yeah, they are made to work together. It's just, I mean, my skin now feels so amazing because, I came in yesterday late from New York, had the whole day because I was out of the office for 3 days. And it kind of, you get tired at the end of the day. But I have to tell you that hydration now that I got in addition to this just kind of, woke up my face in a unique way, for sure. Yes. I love that you can change location. I did that for our upcoming trip since we will be traveling for more than 3 weeks. Yes, Lisa, definitely change it over. Yeah.
Yeah, and Lisa's referring to our subscription service where if you haven't heard yet, it's fully personalized, fully customizable. You can swap out products, you can change your delivery date, you can switch out your 3-step system, a lot of customization there. So you guys should definitely check that out if you haven't already.
And here you can see how film forming or shield forming, which is a good lightweight one. As you can see, now I used so much of the product that it's a buildup that I get because you have already, you cannot add these shields unlimited into it, So, I have now overused it. Everything else now I have to put in this hand because you get a buildup, which I don't have yet in my skin because I didn't put so much into my face. And the face has a little bit of a thicker skin than I have on my hand. My hands are very thin skin. And here on my cheeks, I do have thicker skin buildup. But whenever you feel that there's a buildup, on your skin, you just use too much product. You can just,
I know.
brush it off or take a towel to brush it off. But now you use too much because Pomo really works. It actually really forms shields in your skin that are lightweight. You won't ever break out. They have been tested and they literally slow down your oxidative process. They slow down the moisture loss of your of hydration in dry environments. They are much thinner for humid environments, so it doesn't build up as much. I was doing mostly Polar and Frosty Summit and Black Serum, so it's all the more substantial films that are formed in your skin. But now it feels good. But yeah, I just wanted to point this out. It really does work.
I think we might have missed a question on the raindrops section by Candace.
Okay, let's see.
She says, "Thanks for the great raindrops info. Once a day or twice?"
I use it twice a day now in California. It's so dry in California. I know we have today a Marine Day cream, but somehow it does, it's overall, this is maybe 1 day or 2 days. Last week, it was so dry. As you were saying, you were in Palm Springs. So we are here out in upland Claremont. So we are only 30 miles away from Palm Springs. We are already inland, quite inland, and it is super, super dry. So I'm mixing the raindrops right now into the night cream as well.
Oh, okay. Lisa has a question for
And
us as well.
yeah, let's see, Lisa, here we go. It depends. The day creams are, and I can look here in the bag and show you where you find this. This is where you have the expiration date. So the product should be open until 2025, September 2025. And then once you open, it shows here 12 months. So you have 12 months. So you should open it before September 25th, and then you have 12 months left. Of course, we open it before, but I'm just saying how to read this. So the expiration date is when it's the last day you can open up for 12 months. Once you open it up for 12 months. Most containers are open containers. So Pour More protects our packaging is an additional, to keep the formulas 100% prestige and pristine. And so probably they work much longer than 12 months, but we go with the, 12 months that if it would be, how it works overall. But if you close this all the time, once you open, you close the pump, this will stay pristine for more than 12 months.
Barb has a question
It's
as well.
very good to use the raindrops, Barb. Very, very good. And then I have Marissa saying hi. So I'm, a shout out to beautiful Marissa.
Thanks for joining us this evening.
And then let's see. Can you use your fingers to apply the balancer, or should you use pads and cotton ball? Yes, you can use your fingers. I always use a cotton ball as well. But yeah, I think especially I think Elizabeth in Minneapolis, Elizabeth Reese, is using for the hydrating balancer rich only your hands because she loves that it immediately hydrates her. Always give this as the best tip. One drop in the, because this skin inside our hand is a different skin that we have outside. And so, this always stays somehow, even if you use a hand cream, it feels like it never gets enough hydration. It feels
absolutely.
So if you really build in your hydrating balancer and you just rub it for like a minute or a little 45 seconds, it will stay hydrated all day. You're not going to get that dry feeling in your hands. So, so especially your fingertips will be, getting some hydration too if you use them. The hydrating balancer rich is very liquidy. So it's going to be hard applying it. Just you have it within your hands, but then again, it's hydrating your hands. So yes, you can definitely use your fingers.
Hi, Kimberly.
So I want to just show everybody that we have a special that is that we are running in Los Angeles on our 3-step rotating system. So if you want to give somebody a gift, it's only on the one-time price of $165. That with LA 79, even if you're in Georgia, even if you are in Boston, even if you're in Minneapolis, if you are in Denver on the mountain, you can use it for everybody. LA 79 gets you the 3-step for $79. No shipping, 100% money back guarantee. So this is a secret. It's not just working for Los Angeles. It's working for all the rotating systems. So if you, if you have not signed up for our subscription yet, you can take advantage for this price for the, for the 3-step one time, or you want to give it to a friend. That is a great way to take advantage of it. And we're going to have this coupon code going on for at least 2 more months. So if you don't use it today and you have a birthday coming up next month or the month after, it still will be good. I think we're going to retire it after the spring. So, but I wanted to share it with everybody. So, as this is a special secret.
Definitely take advantage. It's a great price for amazing products. Such a good investment. You know, you don't need 50 different products. You need simple, and it's a great price for what you get out of it.
Yes, exactly. Well, that was always the idea. Pour More is really inexpensive,
Mhm.
expensive French skincare. So it is made in the same manufacturer that makes all the skincare that you pay literally $3,000 to $4,000 for the systems. And I would say Pour More works better because we really have found a unique way of bringing, as I said, expensive, inexpensive, expensive French skincare
Mhm.
that is made to stay the efficacy because it depends on the climate you are in. It just works so much better. And I think we have more unique award winning ingredients that have been so specifically put together in our Pour More Institute in Lyon. Is a group of scientists that are so dedicated to create something so unique that actually really works how the skin works. It got such an excitement in the last 10 years that they have really outgrown themselves. Because normally, a big French European skincare like Dior or Chanel or La Prairie or Sisley, they come in and then they have all this marketing data and they are saying, oh, the customer is looking for more retinol or more hyaluronic acid. And it's really irrelevant if that formula works better because
Mhm.
it's all driven by sales.
Mhm.
So a lot of scientists, they always look at the products and they're like, it's not so exciting to work on this products. The
Mhm.
marketing people have a better things with it than the scientists who actually do know about the product.
Right.
Or more has been done with no marketing in mind of what sells better. It's solely created on what gives you the best results, extraordinary results. We
Amazing.
want to change what skincare can do for you.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, and with that, we hit the 6 o'clock hour in California, the 8 o'clock on the East Coast, and the 7 o'clock in the Midwest. And it's time to say good night and goodbye. And it's just so wonderful that everybody has joined us.
I know.
And Taylor, you are such a superstar. You're doing such a good job.
Thank you.
And everybody appreciates you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate all our customers. You have helped us so much spreading the love of Pour More with your friends and family, helped us to grow the brand. And we are so very much, appreciated of you. Please ask us any questions. There's no such thing as a bad question. And we always thrive to give you the best experience, my entire team, from customer service to shipping out the product to everybody in France, to logistic. We ship the products in refrigerated containers to make sure when it's on the ship it doesn't get too hot, not too cold. Everything is climate controlled until it gets to you. And then we have the double walled, so even if USPS for the 2 days that it's going, we make sure that it still keeps, because it has an inside and an outside, that the inside is not affected by this short trip to you. But when it is 6 weeks on a ship, that's a very different question. You cannot bake it in the summer on the ocean with 100 degrees. You have to have it in a refrigerated container, you cannot do shortcuts with skincare or it doesn't work for you. So I want to ensure we are trying to do everything to get you the best results. And with that, I say good night.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining.